Dianne Winsor is a CPM and the payroll manager at telecommunications company Bell Aliant in St. John's, Newfoundland. She shared her insights on the payroll industry with us. How did you get into the payroll industry?
I literally fell into payroll, like you'll hear a lot of payroll professionals say was their start. I was working at a local fish plant. I'm from Newfoundland, and I had a job for about 2 weeks, and I was doing production reports for the production floor, which is basically adding a lot of numbers and doing some calculations. And somebody came to me and said, our payroll person is moving to another job. Would you like to do payroll? So I said, sure. And that was many, many years ago, and payroll was actually done using a humongous spreadsheet. And the time cards would come to me from the production floor, and it's a fish processing plant. So you can imagine what the time cards looked and smelled like. And I would have to add all the hours, transpose it, put it on the spreadsheet, then manually look up CPP, EI, and income tax from the good old tax tables. I think the only other deduction we worried about at that time was a garnishment, and anything that they had taken from the company store. Write out the checks using a McBee system, write out the pay stubs, put it in an envelope, and wait for people to show up for payday.
What are some major changes you've seen throughout your 20 years in this industry?
If you compare what I just told you about how I started to where I am today, I'm now managing a group of 17 individuals on a payroll team that includes actual payroll processors, time and labor analysts, business analysts, and we're into huge, multi-million-dollar systems. My day is now comprised of either managing multi-million-dollar systems or upgrades, or being involved in strategic planning for multi-million-dollar projects. So quite a change from where I started.
Why do you enjoy working in payroll?
I think I'm a people person. I'm a people person above everything else. I've gone through all those psychological tests to tell you what you'd be good at doing and whatever, and none of them are even remotely close to payroll, but yet I love payroll and I've been doing it for years. My boss calls me a payroll lifer. And I think that the thing that I really, really enjoy about payroll is the fact that I never have the same day twice. And everybody tends to think of payroll as being really mundane and routine, and you're plugging away doing the same thing over and over again. I can honestly say that I don't. I've had to hone prioritization skills to a science, because I can have my whole day prioritized by 8:35, which is like 5 minutes after I arrive at work, and by 8:40, that planning has gone out the window and I have to start over because there's a couple of fires somewhere. The people part is great. I really, really enjoy the fact that I get to actually relate to so many people. And I found out after pretty well getting close to completing a CGA that I wasn't a numbers person, that I was really a people person. So I had just enough of a numbers interest, I think, to make payroll a good spot for me, but it's interesting and it's never dull. I'm very passionate about payroll. I've been a long-time proponent of the fact that payroll is not a clerical job. It's anything but clerical, and there's a huge skill set and a huge knowledge requirement for payroll.
What are some hot topics in the payroll industry right now?
The big thing that, for me, I find personally exciting over the past couple of years is that with the change in the overall business environment and the major change in systems and legislation is that companies are finally starting to realize, payroll professionals have known for years that we're a really strategic part of an organization, and the organizations, including our VPs and CFOs and CEOs, are starting to recognize payroll, the name payroll, not just for the fact that we produce a paycheck, but how integral we are to the actual operation of the business and how strategic we are. We don't just do payroll, and that we're sort of like the underpinnings of the organization. We just reach out into so many areas, and so many areas are dependent on what we can do and when we can do it.
What's your advice to the budding payroll professional?
I think that you really have to have a desire to work with people. You really do have to be a people person. If you're looking for a stress-free job, chose another one. Payroll is very deadline oriented. It's stressful, but it's very, very rewarding. The CPA is an absolute must.